Of all the manipulative tactics that a highly narcissistic person can use, word salad is probably the most infuriating. And if you've ever dealt with it, especially if you've dealt with it on an ongoing basis, I'm gonna bet you agree with me. Let me know in the comments. In this video, I'm breaking down the narcissist's word salad, and I'm gonna share 5 ways that you can tell that you're being served a healthy serving of word salad instead of having an actual productive conversation. And then I want to talk about why it is that narcissists use this tactic so often that it seems like they were trained in it. Like they went to Narcissist University to learn how to use these manipulative tactics. Welcome to the Common Ego community. My name is Christina, and on this channel we talk a lot about emotional abuse. Sometimes we connect it with spirituality, and we attempt to answer the question, what now? Where do we go from here? So if those topics interest you, go ahead and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can be notified when I post new videos. This way you won't miss a thing. Now today we're talking about the narcissist's word salad. Now the origins of this phrase are a little bit different from how we use it when we're talking about emotional abuse. The phrase word salad can be used to refer to a set of symptoms that somebody who has a neurological disorder or a mental disorder may exhibit. And so if somebody exhibits these symptoms, they're going to put words together that don't really go together. They're not actually going to form sentences, it's just kind of words coming out. And although that description might hit home if you've dealt with a narcissist's word salad, it's actually quite different. The narcissist's word salad is actually a manipulation technique. And although what they're saying doesn't make logical sense, especially in the context of the conversation, they are putting together sentences. So if you took the sentence out of the context of the conversation, you might not find anything wrong with it. It would make sense to you as a thought or a sentence. But it does not make any sense in the context of what you're talking about. So if you think you've dealt with this before, let's explore the 5 signs that you're being served a healthy dose of word salad, because you may relate very strongly to these 5 things. Okay, so number 1, the arguments are going to feel circular because they are. What you're doing is you're bringing up a topic of discussion, or you're asking a question to somebody who is purposely not addressing what you've brought up or not answering your question. So you're going to try to bring that conversation back full circle, back to where it began, so you might actually get an answer that makes sense to you. You're going for an outcome that you're not getting, so it just keeps going and going and going. The second sign that you are dealing with word salad is that the person's answers defy logic. Again, like I said, they might make sense when you pull them out of the context of the conversation, but they don't make sense in the conversation. So let's look at a quick and kind of silly example. Let's say you are at work and you walk into the break room and you see your coworker Mary with your lunch, the remains of your sandwich, sitting in front of her. And so you're a little annoyed, understandably so, and you say, "Hey Mary, did you eat my lunch?" And she said, "You know, it's funny that you brought up lunch because I was just having a conversation with Jim about pineapples on pizza. And you know I like pineapples on pizza. And I know that you shared a meme the other day that said that people who like pineapples on pizza might be psychopaths. And you know, I felt personally attacked by that, and I really think you owe me an apology. You were wondering about your sandwich and Mary's talking about pineapples on pizza, and how is any of this logical? It doesn't make any sense." So the third sign that you're dealing with word salad is that this conversation, it started as a conversation, but by the time it's over, it ends up feeling like a competition. So it ends up feeling kind of like you're sparring with this person. Like they just are continually trying to knock you off your game. They're continually trying to derail the conversation for their own benefit. But you also get the sense that they're kind of enjoying it, and that could bring out your competitive side. Because not only is it frustrating that they're not answering your question or addressing the topic that you brought up, but they're also enjoying this nonsense that they're spewing out. They're enjoying that they're frustrating you. And that, I think, is an unintentional trap that many of us get stuck in when we're served up with this word salad. Because as much as you know that this conversation is going nowhere, you feel compelled to bring it back to where it started. And you feel compelled to get this person to admit what they're doing and to address what you wanted them to address in the first place. So you get the feeling that there's a smugness about them as they're doing this. And that could definitely bring out someone's competitive nature. And in that case, this circular argument can just run in circles forever and ever. So the fourth sign that you're dealing with word salad is that this conversation has become immensely repetitive. You find yourself saying the same thing over and over and over again. And the person that you're talking to might even point that out. They might even say, well, why do you keep repeating yourself? We're going nowhere with this. Which is true. But the reason you keep repeating yourself is because you're not getting an answer. You might think you're dealing with somebody who's logical and just, for whatever reason, in the moment, acting illogically, and you can get them to see that. You might think that you can't get them to see that, but you might think that you can get them to see that. And so you keep repeating yourself, and, maybe you think that you're communicating well, but because they're not getting it, you try to think of other ways to say the same thing, so you end up just repeating over and over and over until you're tired of hearing what you're saying, but you still don't get an answer. And the fifth sign that you are dealing with word salad is that you walk away just scratching your head, like in the example I gave. Somebody clearly ate your lunch, and then there they are talking about pineapples on pizza and asking you for an apology. You have no idea what just happened here. The example I gave was a very trivial thing, and it was very, not personal. But these conversations can get very personal, and especially if you're dealing with a narcissist who knows exactly how to trigger you, it's easy for them to do so. So they can bring up a topic that will take you down the rabbit hole. It's a trap, and because you're so emotionally tied to it, you might fall for it. And if you do, there's a good chance you won't even realize what they've done until you walk away and you're replaying the conversation in your mind. But no matter what, these conversations leave you wondering how anyone could operate this way. So why do narcissists use this word salad technique so often that it seems like they're trained in it? Like they went to Narcissist University to learn how to manipulate people in conversations. They all use it in the same way, and they all use it. So the first reason that they use word salad is to generate confusion and to knock you off your game. So they're going to lay out a trail of breadcrumbs for you to follow to get you away from your initial conversation, your initial topic or question. And they're just going to try and lead you away from that. And as you can imagine, that's very convenient for them if it works. The second reason narcissists use this infuriating technique is to initiate an argument and put you in the defensive mode. So when you're defending yourself, it's going to be difficult for you to take that offensive position. So you're going to be busy coming up with reasons that, what they're saying about you isn't true, defending yourself against whatever it is that they're throwing your way. You're going to be there blocking punches, so you're not effectively going to be able to keep this conversation on track. And the third reason why narcissists use this word salad technique is to get the person to lose their composure. So this technique, we know, is so incredibly infuriating that you're likely to act out in anger. And when you do, you look like the problem. And that also benefits the narcissist because it's hard to recover from that. You can't bring the conversation back after that, and you look like the one who's wrong. Okay, so how do you handle this word salad technique? Now, I mentioned that I have a lot of experience with this, and it's definitely more than I'd like to admit. And although this is a technique that you will very, very likely encounter if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, or if you have a narcissist parent or sibling or coworker, somebody who's close to you that you deal with on a regular basis, you may encounter word salad with somebody you know casually. And so if you encounter word salad with somebody you know casually, run. Don't walk, run. Get as far away from that person as you can, because it's not because they're not answering your question. It's because they're using a manipulation tactic to get out of answering your question. So they're not being upfront with you, and they are trying to manipulate you. This is not a good sign. Does it mean the person is a narcissist and has NPD? No, that's not how NPD is diagnosed. But it's definitely not a good sign. It is definitely a sign that this person is manipulative. And that is not somebody who you want in your life. Now, in any other situation where you can't actually run, the best thing you can do is to avoid falling into the traps. So the first thing is to recognize what's going on. Maybe you ask a question and somebody says something that seems illogical. And if you've never dealt with word salad with this person before, you might give them the benefit of the doubt. You might ask again. But if you can identify that this is what's going on, that, this is a crazy making behavior and it's not a normal conversation, it might be time to cut your losses. And I know that when you're in the moment, like I said, it can bring out like a competition or a competitive nature in you. Like, no, this person is going to answer me. But I've been down that road so many times before. And there have been times when I've won, but I didn't really win, and it was always, anytime that I thought that I won, it was over something super trivial. And we probably had spent an hour going around in circles, running around in circles, and me trying to pin this person down to an answer. And really what it comes down to is my time and my happiness is worth a whole lot more than that. But most of the time, whenever I encountered this word salad technique, it didn't end with any sort of resolution. There was no closure on this conversation. It just went around in circles and around in circles. And in the end, I ended up feeling worse than I did in the beginning. So really the best thing that you can do is to cut your losses. Once it starts going down that road, once you've entered this zone, it does become kind of like a battleground. But it's also a lost cause because there is no winning. A narcissist might think that they're winning, but they're really not. If you understand the word salad technique, you've had these conversations and you've known that they've gone off track. They didn't trick you. So really no one wins in this word salad thing. It's just best to avoid the frustration and walk away, as hard as that can be. So if you found this video helpful, please let me know by hitting the like button. And if you'd like to see more like it, subscribe, and I will see you next time.